Good morning, children. How is it going? Hope everybody is safe at home. Okay. So, what about the lesson you have learned in the previous class? I hope you have gone through it. And I would like to ask one question. Okay, that is towards the end of that part. Okay. Portia tells of a strange nature is the suit you follow. Whom does Portia tell this to? Of a strange nature is the suit you follow, yet in such rule that the Venetian law cannot impugn. So, whom does Portia tell this? Portia tells this to Shylock. What does it mean? So, according to Portia, the case that Shylock proceeds, or the suit that Shylock follows, is a strange one. And still, the law of Venice cannot take any step against Shylock. Okay, so that's what Portia says. Or the law of Venice cannot criticize him or attack him or take a step against him. And then she turns to Antonio. And what does she ask Antonio? Do you remember? Okay, the last part where we stopped. She asked, "You stand within his danger, do you not?" So, Portia, disguised as the judge. Okay, so she asks Antonio whether he has to pay or whether he is liable to pay his penalties. And what does Antonio reply? So he says. Then Portia asks, "Do you confess the bond?" So Portia, as the judge, asks the merchant Antonio whether he admits having made a bond like this. Okay, she wants to know whether he had made an agreement or a document like this. What does Antonio say? "I do." So Antonio admits that he had done or he had done an agreement or a deal like this. Okay, so he accepts. That's the part where we stopped. Okay, Antonio admits to the judge. Here, who is the judge? Portia, disguised as the judge, and Nerissa, disguised as her clerk. Okay, now Portia, then must the Jew be merciful? Okay, so the judge, okay, tells that then the Jew must show mercy. In this situation, Antonio admits that he has made an agreement like this and he had forfeited the bond. And in such a situation, only Shylock can do something. What is that? Shylock should show mercy. And see Shylock's reply? Shylock, on what compulsion must I? Tell me that. Okay, so Shylock else, on what compulsion must I? Tell me that. So he asked in return, what is there to compel me? Okay. So how can he be compelled to show mercy? He was holding on to the bond and he says that justice is on his side. Okay. According to the bond, say Antonio has forfeited the bond and so he should pay the penalty. So that's why Shylock says he should get justice. So that's why he asked, on what compulsion must I? How can anyone compel him to show mercy? Tell me that. So now you can hear the beautiful speech of Portia about mercy. Okay, see in the Bible in Matthew 5:7 it is said, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." So here Portia's mercy speech portrays her own quality of spiritual grace as well as the Christian doctrine of mercy. Okay, that's what in the Bible it says, blessed are the merciful. So those who show mercy to others, they are blessed because they also obtain mercy. Okay, so based on this, her mercy speech. Now, what does Portia reply to Shylock when he asked that why he should be compelled or on what basis he is compelled to show mercy? Okay, the quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It is blessed. Blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. Okay, so beautiful speech about mercy. Okay, so the quality of mercy is not strained. So, not strained, that means forced, not forced. Okay, the word, what did you understand from the word strained? Forced. Okay, so Portia replies to Shylock that the quality of mercy is not forced. It cannot be forced. Okay, and then it droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven. So the mercy is dropped as freely as the gentle rain from heaven. Okay, so according to Portia, mercy should not be, or mercy is not compelled or forced. It just droppeth from heaven like rain. Okay, it drops as freely as the rain from heaven upon the place beneath, upon the earth. Okay, beneath, upon the earth below. It is twice blessed. Here it refers to mercy. Okay, what does it refer to? It refers to mercy. It is twice blessed. Okay, so mercy is twice blessed. That means it is, or mercy carries with it twofold power. Okay, what is the twofold power? Okay, twofold power, and because it is a double blessing. Okay, how is it a double blessing? It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. Okay, so if a person shows mercy, it blesseth him. Okay, mercy blesseth that person who shows mercy and the person who receives mercy. That's why Portia says mercy is twofold, or it is twice blessed. It blesseth him. So in the next line, it is explained clearly how it is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. Then 'tis mightiest in the mightiest. Okay, so mightiest in the mightiest, that means this quality, okay, this quality of mercy is the greatest, mightiest. Tis the greatest quality in the greatest people. Okay, the great or the greatest person. Mercy is the greatest quality of a greatest person, okay, or the most powerful person. It is the mightiest powerful. It's the powerful quality or the greatest quality of the mightiest or the powerful person. Then it becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. Okay, throned monarch. Who's the throned monarch? Who sits in the throne? A king. Okay, so you know that the king wears a crown on his head. That is the sign of his power and position. Okay, so it becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. So according to Portia, the judge, okay, she tells that, or according to her, the that the crown that he wears, okay, so that is compared to mercy. So mercy sheds a greater luster on the king than the crown he wears on his head. This what it becomes, the it means the mercy, it becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. So it sheds a brighter luster on the king more than the crown he wears. Then her scepter shows the force of temporal power. Okay, you know what is scepter? When you see the picture of a king, okay, you might have noticed, okay, a decorator rod the king hold in his hand. Okay, the decorated rod carried by a king. So if the, okay, if a king doesn't carry the rod or the scepter, and if he doesn't have the crown on his head, nobody will recognize him as a king. So these are the symbols of the earthly power. Okay, so his scepter shows the force of temporal power, the earthly power, the attribute of and majesty. Okay, so this shows, okay, the crown and the scepter shows the force of temporal power and the quality to awe and majesty. Okay, that is the power and grandeur which makes the people would fall with dread. Actually, not dread, it is power and grandeur. Okay, that's what. Not terror. Okay, the people don't feel terrified, but they feel, or they will have a deep veneration, deep respect and adoration. That's what this scepter and the crown helps. Okay, the attribute of and majesty, the power and grandeur, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this scepter sway. So Portia says that mercy is above the sceptered sway. That is, she says that mercy is far above far above the earthly power, sceptered sway. That means mercy is far above the earthly power of a king. Okay, so earthly power is symbolized by a scepter. Okay, but showing mercy, if the king has mercy, that is beyond, or that is more powerful than his earthly power. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God Himself. See, so it is enthroned in the hearts of kings. Okay, this noble quality of mercy is coming from the heart of kings. It is an attribute to God Himself. So, this is an attribute. Attribute means quality. Okay, so mercy is an attribute to God Himself. We say God is merciful. So, this mercy is an attribute to God Himself. Okay, an earthly power death then show like God's when mercy seasons justice. Okay, so this mercy is an attribute of God Himself. And see, the power of kings is divine. The power of kings becomes most divine when mercy mercy seasons justice. Okay, or justice is tempered with mercy, or justice is mingled with mercy. So the earthly power, the power of kings, that is the earthly power, becomes most divine when justice is mingled with mercy. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea. So uh, she tells Shylock, even though your plea, okay, you are pleading for justice, or your plea is for justice, consider this, that in the course of justice, none of us should see salvation. Okay, so according to Portia, she says that if strict justice were to be meted out to all, that means if God is going to judge us so strictly, then no one enter heaven. That means no human beings will get salvation. This is what say, because that's a Christian belief that all human beings are sinners. Okay, so that's what it tells. If okay, so according to Portia, if strict justice were to be meted out to all, okay, or that means if God is going to judge us so strictly, then none of us will get salvation. None of us will go to heaven. Then she goes on to say that we do pray for mercy. So we all pray for mercy. And that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. So what do we pray? We all pray for mercy. That same prayer that teaches all to render the deeds of mercy. So what do we pray? You know the Lord's Prayer. In that, can you tell me which line? Okay, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. So we are praying that we are forgiving that those who trespass against us. Then only we are asking God, forgive us our debts, just like we forgive our debtors. Okay, so that's a particular line in the Lord's Prayer. So that's what Portia says. We are all asking mercy from God, and that same prayer teaches that to render mercy to others. Okay, like the line which tells us, as we forgive our debtors. Okay, so the debtors here means those who uh, trespass against us. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea. Okay, so now Portia says, see, I have talked so much in length. Okay, for what? So why does Portia talk this much? What is her purpose? To mitigate the justice of thy plea. Okay, so Shylock says that he wants justice. So she wants, Shylock to mitigate the justice of thy plea. Okay, to soft to soften or lessen the severity. Okay, uh, of this harsh justice, to reduce, to lessen it. Mitigate means, okay, again you can say to soften, to make it soft, soften the harsh justice, which if thou follow the strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there. So if he goes on claiming for justice, then the court of justice in Venice has to pronounce the sentence or pass the sentence against the merchant there. Okay, because no other go. Only Shylock has to accept, okay, or he has to mitigate or soften the harsh justice. Shylock, my deeds upon my head, I crave the law, the penalty and forfeit of my bond. So, very harshly, Shylock replies that let the consequence of my deeds come on my or fall on my head. That what does it mean? That means let the consequence of my deeds be on me, or whatever I do, I am ready to take the responsibility. Okay, so he says that my deeds upon my head. So Shylock replies that he is ready to face the consequence of his deed. Then I crave the law. That means, okay, he wants, he wants justice, the penalty and forfeit of my bond. Okay, the penalty. What is the penalty here? Okay, the bond is breached. That means the bond is forfeited. Antonio couldn't give back the money in time, okay, within 3 months. So the bond is breached or broken or forfeited, and so the penalty must be paid. So that's what he claims. Okay, and Portia, is he not able to discharge the money? So Portia, the judge, okay, asks, see, is not Antonio able to give back the money? Bassanio, yes, here I tender it for him in the court. So Bassanio comes forward and he answers that yes, on behalf of Antonio, I will or I have brought the money. So what does Bassanio say? Yes, here I tender it for him in the court. So on behalf of Antonio, Bassanio has, or he says that he has brought the money. How much? Twice the sum. That is, the principal amount is 3,000 ducats, and Bassanio is now ready to pay twice the sum. That is 6,000 ducats. If that will not suffice, so he says, if that is not sufficient, or if that is not enough for you, I will be bound to pay it 10 times or. See, Bassanio is ready to pay even 10 times of the amount of the bond money. Okay, ten times of the bond money. That is 10 into 3, 30,000 ducats. So if Shylock doesn't accept twice the sum, he says that he is ready to pay even 10 times of the bond money. 10 times or on forfeit of my hands, my head, my heart. If this will not suffice, okay, so he says that he is, if that is not sufficient, okay, if that is not sufficient, or so if he fails to do that, so he says he is ready to forfeit his hands. That means as a whole, he is ready to sacrifice. He is ready to give his hands, his head, his heart. If this will not suffice, and if this is not sufficient, or if this is not enough for Shylock, it must appear that malice bears down truth. So if this is not enough for Shylock, so what does it mean? Then it means that malice is trying to destroy the truth. Okay? Malice, hatred. Malice means hatred. Hatred is trying to destroy the truth. And I beseech, rest once the law to your authority. So now Bassanio requests the judge, O your majesty, or okay, your grace, rest once the law. So he requests the judge, rest once the law. That means please use your power, because now she only, okay, according to the audience, he, that's the judge, okay, only the judge has the power or authority. So he requests the judge to use the power on this occasion or on this situation. For what? To use your authority to do a great right, do a little wrong. So in doing a small mistake or doing a small wrong, she can do a great right. So Bassanio asked the judge or Portia to use her power, okay, or the authority to do a great right, to do a little wrong. That means to do a greater justice by committing a small wrong or a small irregularity. This is what he requests. And curb this, and this will help what? Curb this cruel devil. Who is the cruel devil referred here? That is Shylock. This will curb this cruel devil of his will. Okay, of his will. So this will deprive him of his evil will. What is the evil will? To take a pound of flesh from Antonio. So if the judge use his power or use his authority and do a small wrong to do a great justice, and that will deprive Shylock of his right to take a pound of flesh from Antonio. Okay. Portia. It must not be. There is no power in Venice can alter a degree established. So immediately Portia replies that it must not be. Okay, that is, it is not possible. It is impossible. There is no power in Venice can alter a decree established. So there is no power in Venice which can alter, which can change, okay, the established law. Nobody, okay, not only in Venice, in any country, a law cannot be altered by a person. Okay, so the the power in Venice, not even the power in Venice can alter, can change the established law. Decree means law. It will be recorded for a precedent. So Portia says that if somebody does like that, okay, a person who has the authority does something like that, then it will be recorded as an example. And many an error by the same example will rush into the state. It cannot be. So, seeing this, okay, so it will be quoted, okay, it will be quoted by many people in the future, quoting that, okay, such and such a person did like this in this situation, so why can't we do? Okay, so people may quote this as an example, and many errors will creep into the state. Okay, and many an error by the same example will rush into the state. So many errors might creep into the state of Venice. It cannot be. So that is impossible. It cannot be done. That is what Portia's reply to Bassanio. Shiloh, a Daniel come to judgment. A Daniel, O wise young judge, how I do honor thee. So Shylock is so happy, so excited, and so happy that the judge is on his side. Okay, so the judge will help him. Now he is so confident and so very happy that the judge will help him to get justice. Okay, so he praises Portia by calling her a Daniel. Okay, Daniel, you can find there's a Jewish uh, character in the Old Testament. Okay, Daniel, he's wise. Okay, he's a wise person and very good in judgment. So Shylock praised Portia as like a Daniel who came to judgment. A Daniel, oh wise young judge, how I honor you. Okay, how do I honor thee? So here he tells how much he respects Portia, the wise young judge. Portia, I pray you, let me look upon the bond. Now Portia requests Shylock, okay, I request you, please give me the bond, or let me go through the bond. Or she asks Shylock, can I go through the bond? Now she checks, or she asks Shylock, here it is, most reverend doctor, here it is. So Shylock says, here it is. So he is giving the bond to Portia and tells, okay, most reverend doctor, here doctor, doctor of law, most respected doctor, here it is. Portia, Shylock, thus thrice thy money offered thee. Okay, so Portia says, okay, see, you are offered, Shylock, you can accept the thrice the sum, that is thrice, okay, 3 into 3000, so 9000 ducats is offered to Shylock. Okay, and so Shylock says, an oath? An oath. I have an oath. Shall I lay perjury upon my sword? No, not for Venice. So Shylock said, an oath, an oath. Now every time he tells that, he tells that he has gone to the synagogue and sworn in an oath. That means, according to the Jewish people, if they have gone to the synagogue and sworn an oath, that means they will see that it is enforced. Okay, so uh, so they have to see that it is done. Okay, so he says that he has sworn an oath. That means before God. In the synagogue means they believe that the presence of God is there. So he says he has sworn in an oath before God, and then, shall I lay perjury? So he says that, should I commit a sin by breaking that oath? So if he, or if that does not, or if that oath does not fulfill, that means it is like what? Committing a sin. So he asks whether he should commit a sin upon his soul. So he says, by commit, or by breaking this oath, he commit a sin? No, not for Venice. So he says, even if, okay, even if someone gives the whole of Venice, he is not going to give up. Okay, he's not going to break his oath. That's what Shylock replied. Even for the whole of Venice, he is not going to break his oath. Portia, why? This bond is forfeit, and lawfully by this the Jew may claim a pound of flesh to be by him cut off, nearest the merchant's heart. Be merciful, take thrice thy money, bid me tear the bond. Now, Portia, after going through the bond, she understands that the bond is forfeit. Okay, so uh, how is the bond forfeit? How is the bond forfeit? Hmm? Okay, the agreement has been broken, and so the penalty must be paid. Okay, so since Antonio has failed to pay the money on time, okay, the bond is forfeited, and so the Jew can claim a pound of flesh. That's what Portia understood when she goes through the bond. Why? This bond is forfeit, and lawfully, legally, by this the Jew may claim a pound of flesh. Okay. So according to the bond, the Jew, that is Shylock, can claim a pound of flesh from Antonio to be by him cut off. So that means Shylock has the right to cut off a pound of flesh from Antonio nearest the merchant's heart. That is also written. So nearest the merchant's heart, that means from his chest. Be merciful. But again, Portia pleads for mercy on behalf of Antonio. Portia pleads Shylock, but be merciful. Take thrice thy money. See, why don't you take three times of your sum of money? Take thrice thy money. Bid me tear the bond. So Portia requests Shylock to accept three times of the bond money and allow her to destroy the bond and tear the bond and allow Portia to tear the bond. Shylock. When it is paid according to the tenor, it doth appear you are a worthy judge. So Shylock replies, okay, you can tear off the bond when it is paid according to the tenor, according to the terms. Okay, so when it is paid, when when it is paid according to the terms written in the bond, okay, and then it doth appear, then you appear to be a worthy judge. You know the law, your exposition has been most sound. So Shylock again praises Portia that, see, you are a very good judge, you know the law. That means you are, you have the knowledge of law, okay, knowing the law, and you know how to apply it. The exposition, you know the law, your exposition had been most sound. The way she exercised the law was, had been sound. That means it was in a very good manner. Okay, so she has the knowledge of law and she had applied it soundly. And then, I charge you by the law, whereof you are a well deserving pillar, proceed to judgment. Okay, so again he praises Portia and says that he, okay, Portia is a very good member, okay, worthy to be a member, okay, and then he asks her to continue with the judgment, proceed to judgment. By my soul, I swear. So again, he is swearing that there is no power in the tongue of man to alter me. Okay, so nobody has the power. That means there is no power in the tongue of man. That means no human power. That means no one can, or no one has the right to alter his purpose. Alter means change. Okay, you know that when Greciano was uh, asking Shylock, okay, so he was, Shylock was telling, even if he shouts and abuse him, it will not take the legal seal of his bond. That means he has, or according to the law, the justice is on his side. So even if he shouts like that, it will only uh, injure his lung and it won't do anything on the his legal power. Okay, so that's what here he says. Here also he says, there is no power in the tongue of man to alter me, to change, that is to change his mind or change his purpose. I stay here on my bond. Okay, so here again he is insisting on his bond. Okay, I stay here on my bond. That means I have come here to claim justice. Antonio, most heartily I do beseech the court to give the judgment. Now, you can understand the situation of Antonio. He's so desperate, and so he has resigned to his fate. And now he thinks that nobody can save him from the clutches of Shylock. So he requests the court to see. He says, I do beseech the court to give judgment. So he requests the court to give the verdict or give the judgment, to give the verdict. Portia, why then thus it is? Okay, okay then, well, You must prepare your bosom for his knife. Okay, then if you're ready, okay, then prepare your bosom. That means Portia asked Antonio to be prepared and, okay, show your bosom or uncover your chest. Bosom here means chest for his knife. Okay, uncover your chest so that Shylock can take a pound of flesh. Shylock, oh noble judge, oh excellent young man. So Shylock is so happy, and again he praises, yes, Portia, oh noble judge. Okay, and then what an excellent young man is this, Portia. For the intent and purpose of the law hath full relation to the penalty which here appeareth due upon the bond. So this is what Portia understood. Okay, so going through the bond, Portia comes to a conclusion that according to the law, okay, the penalty should be paid because uh, Antonio had broken, okay, or forfeited the bond, and so the law of, see, for the intent, that is the meaning and scope of the law hath full relation to the penalty. That means it applies, fully applies to such a penalty. That means the law allows Shylock to take the penalty which here appeareth due upon the bond. This is because, yes, because he had broken the bond and the penalty is due. Okay. Shylock. 'Tis very true, O wise and upright judge. Again Shylock praises and flatters Portia. 'Tis very true, O wise and upright judge. How much more elder art thou than thy looks. Okay, by looks, the judge is younger, but okay, he is wiser like old people. So that's what he says. How much more elder, how much more elder thou art thou than thy looks. Okay, so according to Shylock, Portia has a greater wisdom, okay, than his age. Okay, so the judge looks very young, but she is very wise. Portia, therefore lay bare your bosom. Now Portia turns to Antonio and tells him, okay, show your bosom. Okay, lay bare, that is, uncover your chest. Shylock, his breast. So he says his breast. Usually we won't say, for men we say only chest, but here he uses the word breast. His breast. So says the bond. Doth it not, noble judge? So he asks, see, it tells it exactly the words say like this. Doth it not? So he asks a doubt to the judge. Okay, the words are like this. The exact words are like this. What are the exact words? Nearest to his heart, that is his chest. Those are the very words. Okay, so Shylock says these are the exact words written in the bond. Okay, Portia. It is so. Are there balance here to weigh the flesh? Okay, so Portia admits that yes, these are the words written in the bond that is nearest his heart or from his chest. So Portia asks, have you brought the balance? Here, balance means the weighing machine. Okay, you might find when you go to a grocery shop or a vegetable, okay, vendor, okay, the balance. That's what. So he Portia asks Shylock whether he has brought the weighing machine to weigh the pound of flesh. Shylock, I have them ready. So Shylock tells, he has the weighing machine with him. I have them ready. He opens his cloak, takes them out. So what he opens maybe the pocket from in his gabardine and he takes the weighing the balances, okay, or the weighing machine. So Shylock tells that he has brought the weighing machine to cut and cut the flesh and weigh because he has to take 1 pound of flesh. Okay, so children, will stop today's class here and I'll take the rest in the next class. Okay, so before I close for today, let me ask one or two questions. So, what was okay? Let me see. What was Shylock's reaction when Portia offered him thrice the due amount for the first time? What was his reaction when Portia offered him thrice the due amount for the first time? Shylock told her that he has sworn an oath before God to have nothing but the bond. And he says that he cannot commit a sin of breaking an oath and not even for the whole wealth of Venice will he break the oath. That's what he tells. And then, okay, let me ask, okay, why, in what way mercy is blessed, twice blessed? Okay, in what way mercy twice blessed and is mightiest in the mightiest? Can you say? Portia says that mercy carry with it twofold power and a okay double blessing. It benefits both the person who shows mercy and the person who receives mercy. Okay, and she says that it affects the greatest and noblest when exercised, okay, by the great and powerful. And what is a scepter? What is a scepter? Okay, the scepter is a rod, ROD, okay, a rod which king holds in his hand. What does that symbolize? Okay, it symbolizes his royal power. And the king's scepter is the outward symbol of his earthly power. Okay, and it gives him awful majesty and fills his subjects with deep veneration. Okay, that's what. Can you tell me the meaning of this? The throned monarch better than his crown. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. Portia says that mercy sheds upon a greater luster upon a royal king than the crown he wears. Okay. So what is Shylock reply in an okay when Portia plead for mercy? What does Shylock reply? Shylock says that he takes on himself. Okay, he says that he is ready to face all the consequence of his acts. Okay, acts. That means he is ready to take all the responsibility of his acts. Further, he demands justice and carrying out of his agreement. And finally, okay, he is ready here to take the pound of flesh from Antonio. Okay, children, please read the textbook and go through the workbook also. I have asked you, or I hope you have written all these questions. And then, okay, read and be thorough with the textbook. And we'll continue in the next class. Okay.